Verse 6, Sri Vishnu Sahasranaama Stotra. Aprameyo Hrishikeshaha Padmanabho Maraprabhu Vishwakarma Manustvastha Sthavishtakastraviro Dhruvaha. Aprameya Hrishikeshaha Padmanabha Amaraprabhu Vishwakarma Manu Tvastha Sthavishtaha Straviro Dhruvaha. Aprameyaha, the indefinable, incomprehensible. He is incomprehensible to our limited senses because he is Hrishikeshaha, he is Lord of the senses. Padmanabhaha means lotus navel. From his navel, from the lotus, emerges the creator, Lord Brahma himself. Now, being the creator of the universe, he is Amara Prabhu, Lord of the immortals. And he is the Lord of the immortals also because he is the creator of the universe, Vishwakarma, Manuhu, the great thinker, Tvastha, extremely powerful. He is the one who reduces the entire universe into the most subtle state and absorb the universe within himself for creation in the next cosmic cycle. This he is able to do because he is the biggest, the grossest, Sthavishtaha, and he is Straviro Dhruvaha, Straviraha Dhruvaha. He is the most ancient, he is the most firm, unshakable, supreme being. Aprameyaha, indefinable, one who cannot be defined and explained in any logical way with reference to any other thing. Now, there are three ways of understanding normally. Pratyaksha, a thing that can be directly perceived, is called Pratyaksha Vastu. And what cannot be directly perceived can perhaps be inferred from the data available. So it is called Anumanaha. It can be Anumana. We can infer. And one more way of understanding a thing is by explaining with something similar, some other similar objects. Upamana. Upamana is an example. There are only three ways of understanding a particular thing. Pratyaksha, which can be directly seen. Anumana, which can be inferred. Upamana, which can be explained with reference to some other thing. But the Supreme does not fall in any of these categories. The infinite has no gunas, no attributes, no properties. Therefore, the Supreme cannot be perceived, cannot be understood through inference, or it cannot be explained in terms of similar or dissimilar things because there is nothing similar and we cannot say there is nothing else outside the Supreme. So there is no dissimilar thing also. So the Supreme remains indefinable, aprameyaha. So Mahavishnu, the Supreme Reality, is called aprameya. But he can be experienced by transcending the senses, by ending the sense of separateness. As long as we think we are something different from him, we can never comprehend him. Once we are able to understand that we are not different from him, we are one and the same, and that itself is the jnana, that itself is liberation from the false imaginary bondage. The Supreme cannot be comprehended by our senses because he is the Lord of the senses. He is Rishikeshaha, Rishika Isha. It also means close cropped, one who has coiled up locks of hair. This normally refers to boy Krishna, who had the beautiful locks of hair, Rishikesha. But actually, Rishika also refers to sense organ. The Atman, as consciousness, it is the one which gives light to sense organs, means it is the one which enables the sense organs to function. So he is called the Lord of the senses, Rishikesha. One more meaning of Rishika, it refers to rays. Rays like rays of the sun, rays of the moon, the rays which give joy. So the term Rishika can also mean Lord of the rays of the sun or the moon. This, this Lord who gives, spreads happiness all around is Rishikesha. The Rishikesha means the Lord himself becomes the sun and wakes up the world to its activities. And he himself is the moon and sends the world to sleep and rest during the night. Now, the subtle meaning of this too is the Lord himself becomes the world, engages in multiple activities, and goes to rest at the time of dissolution. So, all these multiple meanings are there in the word Rishikesha. One in whom the senses are fully under control. In such a person, the wisdom emerges. The wisdom is said to emerge from the Nabhi. So it's called Padmanabha, lotus navel. One from whose navel springs the Creator himself. The four-faced Brahma, the Creator himself has emerged from the lotus emerging from the navel of Mahavishnu. Now, the lotus represents truth. Lotus represents knowledge and all its manifested powers. Actually, all creative faculties in us flow from the navel area and manifest as the four-faced inner equipment. Now, the Chaturmukha Brahma actually symbolically denotes the four inner equipment which we have: the mind, the intellect, the chit, and the ego. Now, as per Yoga Shastra, every idea springs from him, and then at the him means para. The idea springs up from him, para, and then at the navel area, each of them comes to be perceived. At that stage, it comes to be perceived. So it's called Pashyanti. Now, gradually, it arises, transforms, once it reaches the bottom level, it transforms into thoughts, madhyama, and finally they are expressed as activities in the outer field. It is called Vaikhari. So these four are represented there. Now this is symbolism of the Creator seated on the lotus. One who generates even the Creator Brahma is Amara Prabhu. He is the Lord of the immortals. Amara Prabhu. Amara means Amaras, means Devas. Prabhu is the Lord, the Supreme, the King. So Mahavishnu is the Lord of the immortals. Amara Prabhu. Now the denizens of the heavens, including all the office bearers appointed there by again the same Supreme, who are known as Dikpalakas, the controllers or presiding deities of the 10 directions, along with Indra, they are called Devas. And these Devas have they are called Amara, but they are not really Amara because they also have a specific tenure. So, but compared to human beings, they are relatively immortal. So, because of their heavenly state, relative immortality state, they are called Devas, Amaras. The Supreme Mahavishnu is the Lord of all the Amaras. Now, the Devas live and continue functioning till the great dissolution, which is the something like sleep phase of the Supreme Being. complete phase of the creator. Now, compared with the short span of existence of human beings, the, the ages through which the Devas live, it can be considered as practically endless, not really endless, practically for all purposes endless. So they are called immortals. So one who with his might, with his power, with his knowledge, with his thinking capacity, he gives protection and security even to such creatures, is therefore called Amara Prabhu. And he is the creator of the universe, Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma is the creator of the universe, the very creator of the world of objects, of all equipments of experiences, of all experiences, of all the beings. He is called Vishwakarma. The Lord is only a witness to all that is happening. He himself is not involved in any activity. He is not affected by the imperfections or the mortality of the creatures. He is a Sakshi, witnessing all that is happening all around him all the time in the Vishwam, which is a creation of his. He is Vishnu, the creation. He is Vishnu. The creation is Vishwam. He is the actual creator. Bhagavad Gita, verse 4 of chapter 9 says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani na cha aham teshu avastitaha na chaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in the unmanifest form, all this world is pervaded. That means the world is manifest. The world has manifested out of the Supreme, and all this manifest world is pervaded by the same Supreme Consciousness. But the Supreme Consciousness is not manifest, it is in unmanifest state. The unmanifest form of Mahavishnu is there in the manifest world, that is all the beings. Therefore, the Supreme says, all the beings dwell in me, but I do not dwell in them, nor am I dependent upon them. The beings are dependent upon the Supreme, but not the other way around. He is Vishwakarma. He became the creator of the universe as he is the greatest thinker. Manu. Manu means thinker, one having ability to reflect upon the higher. Manasilaha iti Manu. Manu also means mantra. So, if Manu is understood as mantra, then the Supreme is one who himself has manifested in the form of the Vedic mantras. Therefore, all the Vedas, all Upanishads, all Shastras, all scriptures are considered to be manifestations only of the Supreme Being. The Supreme who creates the universe in the beginning of the cosmic cycle, he is also the one who reduces it to the most subtle state in the third concluding phase of the cosmic cycle, which is Srishti, creation, Sthiti, sustenance, and Laya, the dissolution phase. In the dissolution third phase, he reduces the entire created manifested universe back to its most subtle state and preserves it during the pralaya phase, which is something like the sleep cycle, sleep phase of the Supreme Being. And again it will manifest in the next creation phase of the next cosmic cycle. So it's called Twasta. Twasta is the one reducer who compresses the gross things of huge dimensions into minutest particles. As we know, the five elements, Panchabhutas, themselves, they are of varying degrees of subtlety. Akasha is the most subtle. Next is the space is most subtle. Next is Vayu. Next is Agni. Then Jala, and then the Prithvi. These five. Prithvi is the gross form, space is a subtle form. So, in the concluding stage, everything which is gross, that is the universe, that is earth, the living beings, the plants, everything, these get gradually compressed. They keep on getting compressed to subtle and more subtle stage till what remains is only space, which is the subtlest of all the five Mahabhutas, Panchabhutas. Now that is done by the Supreme as Tvastha. And he is able to do this because he himself is most powerful. He is the biggest, Sthavistaha, supremely gross. It is a superlative degree of gross. It also represents the subtlest reality. This is the beauty, this is the vigor of this definition. Savishtaha, Mahavishnu, who has himself become the entire universe of gross things and beings. Now, just as all the waves or the ocean, the waves are not different from the ocean. Waves, big and small, a small gentle wave which comes and gets vanished, eliminated at the seashore, or a mighty tsunami which can threaten all the coastal regions. Both these things are nothing but they are the ocean. They are different forms of the ocean. Similarly, Narayana, Mahavishnu manifested as the entire universe. Now, in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asking him to declare, to explain his glories, Krishna says, I cannot declare everything to you. I don't know how it is unlimited. Even if I have the time, your lifetime may not be sufficient to hear. But what I will do, I'll only main specimens, a few of them of the divine glories, I will explain to you. Because there is no end to detailing of my glories. He says, Hantate, Hanta means okay, well, Hantate Kathaishyami Divya Hi Atma Vibhutayaha Pradhanyatah, only important things. Pradhanyatah Kurushrestha, O Arjuna, it is not possible because na asti antaha, there is no end. Vistarasya me, there can be no end to the detailing of my glories. So, O Kurushrestha, O Arjuna, I will Katha Ishyami, I will declare to you Katha Ishyami, Te Katha Ishyami, I will declare to you only Pradhanyataha, the main items. What? Divya Hi Atma Vibhutayaha. Few specimens of my glories only I will declare to you, Arjuna, because na asti antaha vistarasya me. There is no end to my glories. The supremely gross and infinite being is also Straviro Dhruvaha. He is ancient and firm. Both. Straviro Dhruvaha, ancient and firm. Ancient means Staviraha. Staviraha means ancient. Dhruvaha means motionless, firm. He is called ancient because the very first unit of time itself has arisen from him. He is a progenitor. He gave birth to the very concept of time. Therefore, time cannot condition him. Time cannot measure him. He is beyond time. So he becomes the most ancient. Now, he is the firm truth. Nothing that happens in the phenomenal world can affect him. He is always a witness. He presiding over all the changes, but no change can ever affect him. So he is firm. He is a firm truth. Staviraha dhruvaha. Staviro dhruvaha. So all the change place, all the changes take place with him as a substratum. And he remains the absolute changeless. He is unchanging background for the changing universe. That's all. So with this, we can conclude this verse. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.